Hello everyone, and welcome back to my Rusty Rule of Waves playthrough. So in the last episode, we had a glorious engagement with the Imperial German Navy. We sank all 4 of their remaining capital ships, not counting their armored cruisers, which are not really capital ships. They're like semi-capital ships. Certainly not in the age of the battle cruiser are they capital ships. And as you can see, we gained in that engagement about 10,000 VP. So it was a good month for the US Navy. As you can see, New Jersey, despite almost sinking, is only 2 months in dry dock. So that's cool. New Jersey was our semi-dreadnought with casemated 10-inchers. New Mexico is the modern semi-dreadnought. Lexington was not in that battle, which made me very sad. It would have been amazing had Lexington been in that battle. So Lexington is faster than most every armored cruiser afloat, with half again the broadside armament of a battleship. So let us see what the next month brings us. Oh yes, and we have a bunch of money, don't we? Right, I think we were delaying that, deciding whether I want to lay down one of those modern cruisers. I think we were trying to wait until it had, till we had double turrets on light cruisers or something. All right, let's go. Warden Whipplefusser. No! No, that's so sad. Yes, a sealed carriage has never failed us before in history. A cruiser action. If we're lucky, Lexington can be a part of it. It claims they have 1 battleship. That's a lie. We know they have no battleships in the area. I love how bad intelligence is in this game. It's just Huntington. So it's super sad about the Reno class. They're going to make a knot less than their actual speed. But I was only planning to build those 3 because I was going to switch to the Oaklands. Alright, so let's see what we find. Our only problem is that these Brooklyns are 2 knots slower than their light cruisers, so we won't be able to keep up if we espy a light cruiser. Unknown ship sighted. So it's a clear, calm day. Local time is only an hour before twilight. That's not very good. So we'll have to get close super fast. And then probably have to finish whatever this is off in a night action again. Oh, 2 ships. Interesting, interesting. And away they go. 3 ships. This may be a little bit much to take on with a Brooklyn. We'll find out. Identified as a destroyer, that's expected. Probably a light cruiser with her school of destroyers. Could be an armored cruiser, but I doubt it. No. But that does mean it's probably an armored cruiser. Yes. Hansa class. We're 2 knots faster. Yeah, this is going to end not in the Germans' favor. Unless the destroyers get a torpedo salvo off that wreck us. Ah, you turned to close the range. That was a bold move. Now you turned away again and bang. All right, we've opened fire. Hit. We hit the destroyers with our secondaries. All right, now she's slowed appreciably. Twilight, as expected. Still pulling along at 20, probably the max of 21 knots. So we have 2 knots on her. Whoops, the destroyers are peeling away. Oh God. Destroyers are scary. Torpedoes are scary things, as both we and the Germans learned. Oh, I forgot I even had a tertiary battery. So that rapid turn slowed us down quite a bit. We're down to 17 knots. So now we have to work back up. Steer a point closer. Still firing on it with our forward 10-inch battery. All right, the destroyers have now peeled out of torpedo range. That's good. I'm broadly assuming that their torpedo range is the same as ours. Yeah, what's up with... I mean, Huntington is one of the ships that did well in the last battle, so... Hit chance. Hit chance is not super high with the mains. Right, and we have bad fire control. We do have good crew quality. And crew training and gunnery. So, every little bit helps. Yeah, we are getting all the hits. All right, the destroyers are breaking off. I'd rather take the cruiser than worry about the destroyers. Like, if the result of this battle is we sink a cruiser and 2 destroyers get away, I will be more than happy with the result of this battle. They finally landed a hit on us. But it's a belt hit that didn't penetrate, so who cares? Let's get our after 10-inch battery into action. Two 10-inch hits. More hits. All the hits. All right, just got to be slowing some. Yep, down to 10 knots. Maybe we hit the rudder? Yeah, I think we hit the rudder. On fire? On fire. Yeah, we're getting all the hits. Although one of our turrets is out of action. Turret jammed. Of course. Well, we're close enough that the secondaries are what matters now. The destroyers are coming back. That's fine. If they want to mess around with us, they're welcome to. All right, let's go herring off after a destroyer, because I really don't think we have to worry about this cruiser anymore. All right, so what is the position of this ship? It is 5334 north, 00556 east. If somebody in chat want to take that down, that would be nice of you. Sorry, 5335 north, 00556 east. Okay. Okay, now is the time for rapid movements. Because we are totally in torpedo range. Ugh. They managed to hit our underwater torpedo tube. So we'll have some, oh, we don't even have any flooding. It just flooded the tube, I guess. Not super sure why these destroyers want to keep dueling with me, but they're welcome to. Oh, we must have landed a really good hit. Yes. I think we probably hit. Maybe we hit it with a 10, with one of the tenors. I don't know, something. Oh, it turns out we're not actually going to be out of visual range of that thing anyway, so it'll be fine. I guess our after turret is back in action. We're firing 10-inch guns at it, okay. And we hit with a 10-inch gun. It's probably a hull pass-through. I wouldn't think it would be explode. But we may be firing HE at it. Even then, it might still be a pass-through hit. All right. She's also slowing rapidly. Well, that works. $136 points versus 17,496 points. That was a highly successful engagement. Had I been fighting their side, the obvious solution would have been to run, and then when that failed, try to wait for nightfall and then make a night torpedo attack. And that would have driven me off. And the cruiser maybe could have escaped meanwhile. Germany has laid down a dreadnought. Okay. That seems optimistic. That seems very optimistic. Does Germany have a navy at this point? Let's see. Sunk ships. That's a long list of sunk ships. Ships. Germany has a navy. It has a bunch of coastal submarines. It has a bunch of just torpedo boats, basically, 600-ton destroyers and minesweepers. It has some AMCs. It has some light cruisers. It has some armored cruisers. None of them of any great note. It has these battle cruisers that are interesting to me. Well, Von der Tann is interesting. Mutso is not terribly interesting. It's this, which is the same, to be fair, the same armament as Lexington, just slower with less armor. Yeah, it's broadly comparable to our Lexingtons. But this is interesting, this dreadnought. We'll see what that dreadnought is actually like. Meanwhile, we've lost 2 Brooklyns, a Chicago, and Olympia, and then a bunch of destroyers. They don't have a... I don't think they have a B. I thought that was still building. Oh, it finished? Yeah, it finished. Okay. So it is this. All right, well, it's... comparable to our Lexington, although 2 knots slower. More armament. Although I don't know about their gun quality. Our guns may be higher quality. All right. Yeah, Reno is only 27 knots instead of 28. That's super sad. Rest of the class too. So do I want to just build more of these things? Maybe. Let's open the design and see if we can do any better. Not really. We haven't actually had any advancements. Handsome little ship. Alright, I guess we'll just lay down another one, and it'll be a 3-ship class. Oh, that's right. I forgot, because we were going to get a... That's what was going on, was the dock will be larger. I swear I did this last episode, too. So we'll wait one more turn. That's a not terribly interesting battlecruiser. All right. We know how this is going to work. So Frederick intercepting anything is probably death for that thing, unless it happens to be Lutzow. And even then, we might be okay. We have a 9-inch belt, I think. Yeah, we have a 9-inch belt. If I can cross Lutzow's T, I could take it with Frederick, I think. We're still a knot faster. It would be dicey, but it's a fight that I would take. Also because I'm nuts. It is well known. Ship sighted. Where? I don't see no ship. Where to ship? Oh, there it is. I was looking at the... Once again, I was looking at the battery range, not the... Alright. Alright. They're on a closing course. They've turned about. Close the range and see what we got. It's a strong gale. Interesting. Whoops, we need to come about much further. All right. What speed are we limited to in the sea state? Speed limited to 25 knots. Ha! Nice. That happens to be our maximum speed. And I wonder if they're limited to something lower because they have about half the displacement. Sound and Fury, that's also true. I wasn't mentioning that part, but it's true. Given how little Navy they have left, we can afford to gamble. All right, we're gaining on them slightly, which means it's all going to come down to whose stokers get tired first, basically. Because there ain't no afterburners. Bearings overheating. Great, so that's taking us down to 20 knots, which means they will pull away unless they have a similar issue. They're still at 25 knots. Oh well. And this is why battle cruisers need to be faster than cruisers, or in our case, armored cruisers. Lost it entirely. We'll stay on the same heading in case we get lucky, but we're not going to get lucky. They're making a run for it. Especially since it'll be night before too long and they can sneak past us. Well, that sucks. So we're going to comb up and down and see if we find anything. Which we won't. And that will be the end of that. All right. All right. 27, 500 tons. All right, so annoyingly, we can't go all the way up to our yards maximum without losing the minimal change. And we can't increase the deck armor. We can increase the secondaries. And we can carry more main battery ammunition. And that's about all we can do. So it's basically a retread. But that's fine. Like, it's a good design. Undergunned, but it's a good design. Because 26 knots, man. Yes, I'm aware. All right, so design costs will be practically nothing. reduced by 90%, and there's still not nothing. We'll build larger docks. All right. All right. The Raleighs can go to Europe now. Oops. There we are. Reno is still working up. And a bunch of destroyers are still working up. Okay. The war is over. Have to decide what territories to take. I really want a base in Europe, but we can't take East Prussia. We can take a base on the Indian Ocean. And that's probably enough. Maybe something in the Pacific too. I mean, historically we did take the Marianas. Let's do that. Right, so now our naval budget has cratered. And we just laid her down too. All right. And let's halt one of those. And a bunch of stuff will be coming off the ways in fairly short order, so I don't actually want to halt more than that. But that's fine. Everything in Northern Europe can come back to the East Coast. And all the minesweepers can get mothballed again. And we probably should scrap all our obsolete destroyers. and just build a bunch of 900 toners. I'm also tempted to put these old battleships out of their misery, because they're really quite obsolete. Like, I would not take them up against any first rank or even second rank power anymore. Like, if we look at what people have, everybody's building battlecruisers. Like, let's look at France, for example. So France is building a battlecruiser. France still has her old battleships that are on par with our New Yorks. They're just a little bit better. All right, so that's not as... Maybe we shouldn't scrap them yet. Yeah, no, I know we need another 300 tons in front station. There. All right, and I'm not going to bother to move stuff around until we actually know who our next threat will be. I'm also sort of tempted to get rid of all these Olympias because they're kind of death traps. And that's 420,000 a month in maintenance. About equivalent to 2 battleships. Yeah, you know what? Let's just do that now. How did our monthly balance get... whatever. Anyway. Now we have some good naval guns. Now the real question is, should we lay down a battleship, a dreadnought battleship? What on earth are you doing with wing turrets, you idiot? All right, we definitely need more rounds, although not as many rounds as before. 150 is probably enough. And Let's stick there. Definitely want a 3-inch deck. We're going to rely on our destroyer screen. All right. So this is our Dreadnought. Do we want to actually do this? I feel like the answer is no. It's 30 months at 3183. If we made it a battle cruiser, man, we don't even get that much difference. It's only 2,000 tons. Yeah. I would much rather have 26 knots and a bit less armor. All right, so we'll build this ship once our slipways expand, so we can do like 29,500 and have a bit more armor. But yeah, I don't see the point anymore. We will save it, however. I just don't much see the point of building slow dreadnoughts that will cease to be useful in a few years. And we have the Navy budget that we can afford to spend extra on everything. Oh yeah, the first of these commissioned. So let's instead build some more destroyers. Always a good shout. Oh, we had ships halted. We could have just unhalted something. Let us proceed. Wait, how are we insufficient again? Durr. We'll put the flagship of the cruisers on foreign station. Stare it. Oil firing. All right, and we have access to oil because we're the US of A. So that that Yorktown suddenly just became a gazillion times more viable. Oh, that didn't actually make very much difference, did it? Strange. I would have expected a bigger difference. It's only 100 tons difference. The stokers won't get tired, though, which matters quite a bit. Patterson, Jewett. All right, they're definitely coming off the ways. Let's resume construction on one of these. And at this point, I think 2 months in, we're just going to scrap that class and switch straight to the Yorktowns. So basically we lost 3 million or 6 million? Yeah, about $3 million. But we'll not have an obsolete ship. Constellation is also going to be obsolete, but it's 4 months ahead, and that makes a difference to me. Saratoga still hasn't completed. But is only 8 months out. It's worth keeping. Actually, we'll swap it around. Okay. Preheater. Torpedoes are now up to 30 knots for 3,500 yards. Great Britain has commissioned some dreadnoughts. Let's look at those British dreadnoughts. 6 14-inch guns. That's actually kind of scary. So Britain had good guns by the time she laid these down. 11-inch belt. Formidable class. Why would you? Whatever. It's the dreadnought layout. Implacable is another one of these. Is that? And the Invincible class, I assume, will actually have a reasonable gun layout. Maybe not. Maybe Britain hasn't actually researched a reasonable gun layout yet. All right. Spokane. All right, now we have some excess in the budget. 6 months until the dock size finishes building. We will upgrade the Yorktowns even further, give them a bit more armor and oil firing. We now have obsolete ships. Right, because it's been a while. So I'm going to bet that we're not going to go to war for at least 3 years, maybe. Tension. We're just not getting a lot of tension events. So I think I'm going to go ahead and scrap all the New Yorks. It's risky, but oh no, we were going to wait for the docs for the. Are we going to fight another war in 3 years? Maybe. I'd like to Sound and Fury, but they're not even going to have the elite crews anyway because we have to reconstruct them because they've been in service for almost 10 years. So they've become obsolete and need a reconstruction to not have lots of problems. But yeah, we can do that for now. We can scrap only some of them. And open design for rebuild. We could replace machinery, which would be fiendish. So 4 months. If we upgrade our fire control. And upgrade the guns. 8 months to upgrade the main battery. How much does replacing machinery cost? Takes us up to 10 months. Saves us next to no wait. We can gain a knot if we do that. Not worth it for the cost. Four months, 271. 4 months, 414. So the main battery is too expensive to do, I think. But so that's not very expensive. Oh no, that's a full 2 million because that's in thousands of funds, I think. Yeah, that's in thousands. So that actually is going to cost 2/3 as much as a battle cruiser for 4 months just to get a slightly better secondary armament. So I don't think we're going to do that. So we'll just do a minor rebuild. That upgrades the fire control because it's cheap. I'm still unconvinced that I actually want to do that though. We have 3 of these left, but without them we have basically no capital ships. So I guess we kind of have to. And these already have the new fire control. So we'll just do a minor rebuild for these. Open design for rebuild. Central firing. We'll rebuild you. We'll rebuild you. And we'll rebuild you. I guess we can wait a little bit before that gets actually obsolete. Now, what do I want to do about the armored cruisers? Brooklands. 10 months. We can actually make them fast enough to be reasonable. All right. We're basically rebuilding this thing into a cruiser killer. Which is quite expensive. All right, fine. I guess we'll keep the 10-inch guns. And that saves 500 off the thing. We have to keep them casemated? That sucks. All right, well. And we can't bulge it to give it any kind of torpedo defense either. All right, let's try this again. Central firing. And if we replace machinery, it'll balloon the cost. But I kind of need it to be able to actually chase down old light cruisers and to keep formation with the Fredericks. So there we are. Why did the months go up to 12? Oh, 25 knots, it's only. All right, fine. We'll stay at 25 knots to keep pace with our old cruisers. And with the Fredericks. So, before I do that, $14.44 for 10 months. Just for the sake of argument. Let's design an actual armored cruiser. Yeah, with reasonable deck armor. And TDS. 12,000 tons. We're basically making a pure cruiser killer. Huh. Oh, alright, I guess. Wait, why can't we? You're kidding me. Where's B or X? That's super annoying. Apparently you can't put... How is superimpose not an option? This confuses me. Alright, now it'll give me the options. You have to research superimposed turrets for cruisers separately. Okay. That sucks. Then we'll do it like that. And we're hilariously overweight. So we're... Alright, so rebuilding the Brooklands is looking more reasonable. I just wanted to check what building a new armored cruiser would be like. But yeah, sure, we'll go rebuild these. Yeah, sure, okay. Open for rebuild. $25 knots. It's already 10 months. What does this do? It's just a little more expensive, but it gives us somewhat better guns. It's not going to take any more time, so that's fine. The maximum possible ammo, a better director. And we'll put a 4th stack in because it has even more machinery. Alright, so this is an expensive rebuild, but it will give them another 10 years of life, and they're still adequate cruiser killers, even if they're going to be a bit slow compared to modern light cruisers. Speaking of which, let's see. Want some contemporary cruisers. Like the Kohlberg class, 25 knots. Magdeburg class, 27.5 knots. So this 25 knots should be okay. Yeah, Frederick is still superior, but this is going to be decent. All okay. All right, so this is just to replace the fire control. This is the full rebuild, including machinery. Do we care that much for 2 knots, basically? It's $20 million versus $1 million. Is 2 knots and better 7-inch guns worth? I don't think it is. So we'll do the cheap rebuild. Interestingly, rebuild is not much more expensive than the maintenance costs anyway. All right, these Chicago class cruisers, do they need a rebuild, or am I just going to replace them? Well, there's a couple elite ones. I think I want to just replace them with modern cruisers, and also I think we can't rely on yeah, but what's the next one? I want to know what the next one is. I want to know when we get double turrets on. Light cruiser armor configuration, smoke floats. Huh, where's... superimposed turrets on CA. Multi-gun mounts on CL is next to the last ship design tech there is, so there's no point in waiting. All right. So I guess we better open up Oakland. And we'll make Oakland oil-fired, which is going to make it $5 million more expensive, but gives us a little bit of extra to play with. And maybe we can add another turret. Crowded center line. That sucks. Max of 6 on CLs. I forgot we went through this before. So it's basically one huge stack, which is very ahistoric for this era, but it's fine. Saturn Fury, yeah, but we're making light cruisers, not heavy cruisers. And even that's fairly late in the game. Squeeze an extra knot out? No. No, we can't. All right, that makes next to no difference in cost. So we might as well have the extra bulk. No. I guess we can have a bunch of 3-inch guns for dealing with destroyers. Can have forward mounts. That seems like a recipe for disaster. Yeah, I feel like submerged mounts are just a recipe for disaster generally. I mean, this is fast enough that it could dart in with destroyers, but our destroyers are going to be 34, 35 knotters. So there's not much else we can use our tonnage on. I guess we can have a better protected turrets and conning towers. All right, let's go with that. Let's lay one down. It's going to cost a lot to design, though. Yeah, so we'll start scrapping those obsolete light cruisers. In fact, I will do so right now because maintenance costs. Might as well get rid of the ones with maintenance costs. Oh, they're still on Olympia. Even though they have elite crews. All right. We have some excess funding. We'll unhalt that. Man, these things take a while to build. I better lay down some more of them. And these come off the ways soon. And that'll free up some money. Russian battlecruiser. We've seen this before. Quality steel shells. Okay, we're finally just about breaking even on funding. Sure, I'd rather have money from Germany than, like, we can still sink their ships even if they give us money. They're not actually going to be able to build enough ships to matter. All right, 3 months until our docks come online, and then we lay down the next set of heavy ships. All right, and we no longer have any obsolete ships. All right. I'm going to lay down another couple destroyers. Actually, you know what? Let's see what we can do with oil-fired destroyers. Oh, it only gives us 10 tons. Also, let's make sure that we have oil. I assume we do. I mean, we blithely made oil-firing ships. I trust that... Oh, I think we haven't actually technically discovered oil yet. Weird. Does it say somewhere whether we have oil or not? I don't know. Well, when those ships launch, hopefully we have oil. Anyway, I was gonna work on this destroyer because I think we can add another torpedo tube now, maybe. With oil firing, we can go up to 35 knots. Oh, what just happened? That was strange. All right, I guess we'll wait on the destroyers. We'll just keep building Smiths because we know they're decent. Oh, thank you. The top right says there's oil. Nations with access to oil. Okay, good. Thought so. I thought we had access to oil. New docks are complete. And Saratoga commissions. And we get more budget and more tension, all of which is great. We are now just shy of 30,000 tons. Let's look at that Yorktown design again. So the one problem it had was, also let's look at, wow, our yards are way better than everybody else's yards. The one problem this design had was insufficient armor. We now have almost 1,000 tons to play with for armor. Let's look at some gun data. Gun data says we'll penetrate 3 inches at 20,000 yards. So right on the edge of our engagement envelope, it'll penetrate a 3-inch deck. But anywhere closer than that, it will not. The 14 quality 1 guns will probably penetrate our deck at about 16,000, no, 17,000 yards. As for belt, penetrates 12 inches at 8,000 yards. So our immunity zone is 8,000 yards to just shy of 20,000 yards against their own guns. Now, the key question is whether against anybody else that we're likely to hit, there will be somewhere where our guns can penetrate them. My guess is let's check the almanac for what's building. We're most likely, I'm not going to fight Britain. I'm just going to not do it. So we have no insight on these things. But they're unlikely to have a thick enough belt to matter. France doesn't have any dreadnoughts. It's building a single battle cruiser. Russia we already know about, 10.5-inch belt. So we can penetrate that outside of, we can penetrate that from within our immunity zone, for sure. It doesn't even say what the deck armor is. Even this thing, which we don't know about yet, probably has. All right, Japan, yeah. I wish they'd tell us deck armor, but that's probably 2 inches of deck armor. Italy, don't even care about Italy. Doesn't have anything modern. For the sake of argument, they won't tell us deck armor. But with an 11-inch belt, it's not going to have 3 inches of deck armor, which means we're fine. Yorktown. 12 inches of belt. Let's go back to a 3-inch deck. That's fairly meaningless. It turns out that 10 is so much more handsome that I'm going to stay at 10. Oh, we can almost make 27 knots. That's so great. And if we accept lowered belt thickness from doing it that way, there. Let's do it like that. All right, USS Yorktown at 27 knots, a knot faster than the rest. 14-inch guns. So this is going to be the world's first fast battleship. I mean, the Constitution class kind of were, but they were undergunned. This is going to be the first class of battleships that actually this has battleship level armament, 9 14-inch guns. 27 knots, and definitely battleship class armor. I'm very proud of this ship. And they're not casemated, so we're not going to have the usual seaway problems. Let's lay one down, given that we have a very healthy balance right now. USS Yorktown. That's expensive, but expected. And we'll lay down another Oakland cruiser. I'll take the prestige hit. Our prestige is quite high. And of course, that happens just after we lay down Yorktown. Hey, I thought we got secondary turrets and battleships. Why is it not? What's going on here? How was I able to do that before? Oh, because they're not full turrets. They're just gun shields. I think they weren't full turrets before. Yeah. Anyway. Oh well. We're close to good enough. Oh, Sound and Fury, you're absolutely right. This isn't the BB, but I think it's true for battlecruisers too. Not certain, but we'll see. Anyway. Oh, I didn't start the next dock size building. Shoot. That was bad. Lost a few months there. Nothing is obsolete again yet. That's about to be. Yeah, see, we lost the elite status of these ships anyway, so what did it matter? Dang, the alliance with Great Britain expired. I want an alliance with Great Britain again. Nothing's halted. So yes, we'll be running at a deficit, but we can run at a deficit for a little while, for the 4 months until Constitution finishes. Or even longer, because we just sold some tech. I think we can finally start scrapping some of these old destroyers. Like, let's strike all the Perkins class. I'd like to get rid of all the Lamson class too, because they only have 2 torpedo tubes. But that will require building up many destroyers. Many, many destroyers. Yeah, but these things are old enough that they're pretty clapped out. Interesting French destroyer. Only 32 knots. Fire control delay. More destroyers. We need a lot of destroyers, particularly because I spend them. So there's 8 Lamson class. There's 4 Hull class that are slower because the lead ship was slow. But I'm going to put all these old ships in reserve. Oh, actually, you should start your rebuild. Might as well mothball them all. One month until Constitution finishes. Okay. Let's lay down another Oakland. Well, that was nice at private ship building. The new French battlecruiser. Oh yes, 2.5-inch deck. Okay, we definitely, good we went up to 27 knots, and good that we certainly can pierce our main belt, but a 2.5-inch deck also we can easily pierce, and we'll be immune to 13-inch fire. All right, so we can easily fight that battle. Another cruiser. Torpedoes getting better. And some more destroyers. I'll take the prestige hit because I want to be allied with Britain. Really want to be allied with Britain. Dock size. We're already at nearly Washington Naval Treaty tonnage limits, and will be after the docks build completes. I guess we'll push up to 30 knots and more armor, but keep the 914s for our next ship. Although 30 knots is a bit much in 1910 for a battle cruiser. All right, so we're building enough destroyers that we can scrap these ships. And we'll lay down some more minesweepers. Which are going to look an awful lot like destroyers. Oh, apparently we're capped at 24 knots. Okay. Can we go to 5-inch guns? Why not? I guess we'll stay at 4-inch guns. Can we add some torpedoes? No torpedoes. All right. But we can give it armor. We can actually give it 1.5 inches of belt armor. Yeah, we need some of these for coastal defense. Hydraulic riveting. No! You had one job! We need all or nothing armor. That was the American advance in armor. I really want all or nothing armor. That's what our next class of ships big ships should have. Well, we have like 10 months to figure it out, so. All right, so we know the Oaklands are not slow. So let's build a bunch more. More tension with Russia. More tension with France. Fleet tactics. Make signaling errors less likely. Good, because we had a lot of them. All right, Germany has commissioned their dreadnought. Let's go look at it. 9.5 inch with 10 13-inch guns. All right, so Yorktowns will eat them for breakfast. All right, I really got to stop though, because it's like past 11 p.m. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you soon. Bye-bye.